Hey, you're not gonna believe what happened to the Jacksons last spring. Picture this. It's a regular Tuesday, right? The sun's out, birds are chirping, and Tom Jackson's just chilling in his backyard with a cold beer. He's kicking back in one of those old lawn chairs, the kind that creak every time you move. His wife, Lisa, steps out onto the porch with a basket of laundry, and their teenage daughter, Mia, is sprawled out on the grass, scrolling through her phone like it's her job. Everything's normal, quiet, just another day in their little suburban neighborhood. Then, out of nowhere, Tom squints up at the roof and goes, Lisa? You seeing this? Lisa drops the laundry basket. Socks and t-shirts spill everywhere, and looks up. There, smack dab on top of their house, is this giant, messy pile of sticks and twigs. It's not just some random junk either. It's a legit stork's nest. Like, full-on nature documentary vibes. Two big, white storks are perched up there, flapping their wings and clacking their beaks like they own the place. Mia bolts upright, phone forgotten, and yells, "No way. Are those cranes or something?" Tom's like, "Nah, kiddo, those are storks." Big difference. He's trying to play it cool, but you can tell he's just as shocked as the rest of them. Now, the Jacksons aren't exactly wildlife experts. They've lived in that house for, 15 years? It's a two-story deal with a slanted roof, red shingles, the works. Pretty standard stuff. Never once had they seen anything crazier than a squirrel or maybe a stray cat up there. So this is next level weird. Lisa's standing there, hands on her hips, staring at these birds like they just broke into her house. "How'd they even pick our roof?" she mutters. Tom shrugs and takes a sip of his beer. "Guess we're special now." Word spreads fast in a neighborhood like theirs. By dinner time, half the street's buzzing about it. Their neighbor, old Mrs. Carter, shuffles over with her binoculars. Yeah, she's that type, and starts going on about how storks are good luck. "They bring babies, you know," she says, winking at Lisa, who just laughs it off. Mia's already got her phone out again, snapping pics and posting them online with captions like, "New roommates alert." The whole family's kind of amused at this point, you know? It's not every day you get storks setting up shop on your house. Over the next couple of days, they start getting used to it. The storks are loud, clacking and squawking at all hours, but there's something cool about watching them. Tom even digs out an old pair of binoculars from the garage so they can spy on the birds from the kitchen window. They spot one of the storks flying off and coming back with sticks, building that nest bigger and bigger. It's like their own little reality show. Mia names them Fred and Ginger, because why not? Lisa's worried about the roof, though. She's like, "Tom, that nest looks heavy. What if it messes up the shingles?" Tom just waves her off. "It's fine, babe. They're not hurting anything." But here's the thing. They didn't realize just how attached they'd get to those goofy birds. Every morning, Fred and Ginger are up there, doing their thing, and the Jacksons start feeling like they're part of the family. Mia's friends come over just to see the storks, and Tom's bragging to his buddies at work about how his house is basically a bird sanctuary now. Lisa even starts tossing bread scraps into the yard for them, though Tom teases her about it. "What, you think they're pigeons?" he laughs. She just rolls her eyes and keeps doing it. It's all fun and games, right? They're living this quirky little moment, thinking it's no big deal. Little did they know, those storks were about to turn their whole world upside down, and not in the way you'd expect. See, the Jacksons figured they'd just let the birds hang out for a while, maybe snap a few more pics, and call it a story to tell at Thanksgiving. But nature's got a way of throwing curveballs, and this one was coming fast. Okay, so the Jacksons are pretty much in love with their stork situation by now. Fred and Ginger are up there on the roof, clacking away, building their nest like it's a 5-star bird condo. Tom stopped worrying about the shingles, mostly because Lisa's stopped nagging him about it, and Mia's turned into the neighborhood stork expert, rattling off random facts she's Googled. "Did you know storks can live for, 30 years?" she says one morning over cereal. Tom just grunts. "Great, we've got tenants for life." But you can tell he's secretly into it. Thing is, the roof's not exactly in perfect shape. It's been a few years since they last had it checked, and there's this one spot near the chimney that's been leaking a little during big rains. Lisa's been on Tom to call a roofer, but now? No way. They're not about to mess with Fred and Ginger's setup. What if the latter scares them off? Lisa says, peering out the window at the nest. Tom nods like it's the most logical thing ever. Yeah, we can't risk it. That nest is their home now. So they decide to let it ride. Roof can wait, right? Everything's chill for a while, until the weather decides to throw a wrench in the whole deal. One afternoon, the sky goes from blue to this ugly gray real quick. Clouds roll in, thick and heavy, and the wind starts picking up. Mia's out in the yard, trying to get one last pick of the storks before the storm hits, when the first raindrops splatter down. Guys, it's gonna pour, she yells, bolting inside. Tom's on the couch, half watching some game, and mutters, hope those birds have an umbrella. Lisa's in the kitchen, glancing up at the ceiling like she's waiting for that leak to start dripping again. And man, does it pour. This isn't just rain, it's a full-on storm. Thunder's rumbling so loud it shakes the windows, and lightning's flashing like a strobe light. The Jacksons are huddled in the living room, peeking out at the chaos. Then, crack, a bolt of lightning hits right on the roof. It's like something out of a movie. There's this huge bang, and Tom jumps up, yelling, "What the hell was that?" Lisa's already at the window, and she gasps, "Oh my God, the roof's on fire." Sure enough, there's smoke curling up from the shingles near the chimney. It's not a big blaze yet, but it's definitely burning. Mia's freaking out. What about Fred and Ginger? They can see the storks flapping around up there, all panicked, but the nest is still intact, for now. Tom grabs his phone and dials 911, pacing like a madman. Yeah, hi, our roof's on fire. Lightning hit it. Hurry. Lisa's trying to stay calm, but her voice is shaking as she says, "We've got to get the birds out of there." The fire truck shows up fast, sirens blaring, lights flashing, the whole deal. Neighbors are poking their heads out, gawking as the firefighters jump out and start unrolling hoses. The rain's still coming down hard, but it's not enough to kill the fire. One of the guys shouts up to Tom, "We've got to hit it with water, stand back." Before anyone can say anything, this huge blast of water shoots up from the hose, slamming right into the roof. It douses the flames, but it also nails the stork's nest dead on. Sticks and twigs go flying everywhere, and the whole thing just collapses, tumbling down into the yard like a sad, soggy mess. Lisa lets out this little cry, "No." Mia's got her hands over her mouth, and Tom's just standing there, soaked, staring at the wreckage. The firefighters finish up, and the lead guy walks over, wiping rain off his face. "Fire's out. You're lucky it didn't spread. Roof's a mess, though." Tom nods, barely listening, because all he can see is Fred, or maybe Ginger, flapping around in the rain, looking lost. The nest is gone, totally destroyed. Lisa's voice cracks as she whispers, "They worked so hard on that." The storm finally starts to ease up, leaving the Jacksons drenched and stunned in their driveway. The firefighters pack up and roll out, and the neighbors drift back inside, but the family just stands there, staring at the spot where the nest used to be. Mia's the first to break the silence. "They're gonna come back, right?" she asks, her voice small. Tom puts an arm around her and says, "Yeah, kiddo. They're tough, but you can tell he's not so sure. The roof's scorched, the nest is toast, and those storks? They're out there somewhere, probably wondering what just hit them."
Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. This is very important to understand whether you like this video. Thank you.
The next morning, the Jacksons wake up to a mess. The storm's gone, the sun's peeking out, and their yard looks like a tornado hit it. Sticks, leaves, and bits of soggy stork nests scattered everywhere. Tom's out there in his old work boots, sipping coffee and staring at the roof. It's a disaster. Black scorch marks streaked across the shingles, a chunk near the chimney half caved in. And that little leak they'd ignored? Yeah, it's a full-on drip now, plinking into a bucket Lisa stuck under it in the attic. "Well," Tom says, scratching his head, "guess we're not putting off that roofer anymore." Lisa's already on the phone with their insurance guy, pacing the kitchen in her bathrobe. "Yeah, lightning hit it. No, we didn't see it coming. Can you send someone out today?" Mia's quieter than usual, sitting at the table with her cereal, just stirring it around. She keeps glancing out the window, like she's waiting for something. Tom notices and nudges her. "You okay, kiddo?" She shrugs. just wondering where Fred and Ginger went. It's the first time any of them say it out loud. The storks are gone, and it feels weird. They get to work cleaning up. Tom drags a ladder out of the garage, muttering about how he's too old for this, and starts hauling debris off the roof. Lisa's raking up the yard, tossing nest scraps into a trash bag, though she keeps hesitating, like she feels bad throwing it out. Mia's supposed to be helping, but she's mostly poking around the wreckage, looking for clues. Maybe they'll build a new one somewhere else, she says, half to herself. Tom grunts from the ladder. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe they're done with us after that water cannon stunt. A couple days later, the insurance guy shows up, takes one look at the roof, and whistles. Yup, that's covered. Lightning's an act of God, folks. We'll cut you a check. Tom's relieved. Money's tight, and a new roof isn't cheap. But Lisa's more worried about the storks than the house. Think they'll come back? She asks the guy, like he's some bird whisperer. He just shrugs. Beats me. Storks are weird like that. Not exactly helpful, but it's something. The rebuild starts fast. By the end of the week, there's a crew up there, ripping off charred shingles and hammering down new ones. The noise is insane. Banging, sawing, guys yelling over each other. The Jacksons try to go about their day, but it's hard to ignore. Mia's holed up in her room with headphones. Lisa's baking cookies to keep her hands busy, and Tom's pretending to read the paper while sneaking looks out the window. That's when it happens. Lisa spots it first. Tom, Mia, get out here, she yells, dropping a tray of half-baked dough on the counter. They rush outside, and there it is, one of the storks, Fred, they decide, because he's got that little limp, perched on the corner of the roof. The workers are still banging away, but Fred doesn't seem to care. He's just sitting there, right where the nest used to be, looking around like he's confused. Then he lets out this loud, rattling cry, clack, 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 that echoes down the street. It's not his usual noise. It's sharper, sadder, like he's calling for something that's not coming back. Mia's eyes go wide. He's crying, she says, and Lisa nods, her throat tight. Poor guy. The workers notice him too. One of them, a big dude with a beard, climbs down and walks over. That your bird? He asks Tom, wiping sweat off his forehead. Tom chuckles, kinda. He's been our neighbor for a while. The guy squints up at Fred. Huh. Keeps coming back, huh? Must like you folks. He heads back to work, but the Jacksons stay put, watching Fred. He doesn't move, just sits there, crying out every few minutes, his big wings tucked in tight. It's heartbreaking, you know? Like he's lost and doesn't know where else to go. That night, they're all on the porch, eating slightly burnt cookies and talking about it. Maybe Ginger's out there somewhere, Mia says, hopeful. Lisa's not so sure. Could be. Or maybe he's just lonely. Tom leans back in his chair, staring up at the half-fixed roof. Guy's got guts, I'll give him that. Coming back after all that. They don't say much after that. Just listen to Fred's cries cutting through the dark. It's weird how attached they've gotten to this bird, but he's part of their story now, and they're not about to let him down. So, the Jacksons aren't the type to just sit around feeling sorry for Fred. That stork's up there on their half-rebuilt roof, clacking away like a broken record, and it's starting to get to them. Lisa's the first to crack. She's out on the porch one morning, sipping coffee and watching him perch in the same spot. When she goes, "We can't just leave him like that, Tom. He's miserable." Tom's flipping through the sports section, barely looking up. "What are we supposed to do, babe? Build him a new nest." Lisa sets her mug down with this little clink and says, "Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do." Tom laughs at first, thinking she's kidding, but then he sees that look in her eyes, the one she gets when she's dead serious. Mia overhears from the kitchen and pokes her head out, all excited. "Wait, for real? We're making Fred a nest." Lisa nods, already in planning mode. "He's our neighbor, right? Neighbors help each other out." Tom groans, but you can tell he's on board. He's just gotta act like it's a hassle. "Fine," he says, tossing the paper aside. "But I'm not climbing up there with a hammer again. My back's still mad from last week." They don't waste time. That afternoon, the whole family's in the garage, digging through old junk to figure this out. Tom finds some leftover wood planks from a bookshelf he never finished. Typical. And Mia grabs a rusty bucket of nails. Lisa's on her phone, scrolling through articles about stork nests. Says here they like sticks and mud, but they'll take a platform if you give them one, she reads. Tom's skeptical. A platform? What? Like a bird pen house? Mia giggles. Yeah, Dad. Fred deserves the VIP treatment after that fire hose crap. They settle on a simple frame. Nothing fancy, just a flat base with some edges to keep stuff from sliding off. Tom's grumbling the whole time he's sawing the wood, but he's secretly proud of how it's coming together. Mia's in charge of gathering sticks from the yard. There's still plenty left from the old nest, and Lisa's sketching out how they'll attach it to the roof without ticking off the roofing crew. We'll bolt it near the chimney, she says. Stable spot, and Fred likes it there. It's a team effort, and by sundown, they've got this rickety but solid little platform ready to go. Next morning, Tom's up on the ladder, despite his back complaints, bolting the frame into place. The roofers are still around, finishing the last shingles, and one of them, the bearded guy from before, watches with a grin. You folks are nuts, he says, shaking his head. Building a birdhouse up there? Tom wipes sweat off his face and smirks. Yeah, well, he's earned it. Lisa's down below, holding the ladder steady, while Mia's filming the whole thing on her phone. This is going viral, I swear, she says, zooming in on Tom fumbling with the drill. Once it's up, they step back to admire it. It's not pretty, kinda looks like a kid's treehouse gone wrong, but it's sturdy, nailed tight to the roof near where Fred's been hanging out. Lisa tosses a few sticks onto it to make it feel homey, and Mia adds a handful of grass she yanked from the lawn. There, Lisa says, brushing her hands off. Now it's up to him. They're all a little nervous, you know? Like, what if Fred doesn't get it? What if he just keeps crying and ignores their big gesture? For a couple hours, nothing happens. Fred's off somewhere, probably scavenging, and the Jacksons go back inside, trying not to hover. Then, around lunchtime, Mia's the first to spot him. Guys, he's back, she yells, bolting to the window. Sure enough, there's Fred, flapping down onto the roof. He lands right on the frame, tilts his head like he's inspecting it, and starts clacking his beak. Not the sad cry this time. More like a curious, huh, what's this? Tom leans over Mia's shoulder, watching. Think he likes it. Lisa smiles, hopeful. Give him a minute. He's got to figure it out. Fred hops around the platform, poking at the sticks with his beak. Then, out of nowhere, he flies off, only to come back 10 minutes later with a twig in his mouth. He drops it on the frame and starts rearranging stuff, like he's decorating. The Jacksons lose it. Mia's cheering, he's nesting. He's actually doing it. Lisa's got this big grin, and even Tom's chuckling. Well, I'll be damned. Guess we're contractors now. It's a small win, but it feels huge, like they've given Fred a reason to stick around after everything went sideways. By dusk, Fred's still at it, adding more sticks and strutting around like he owns the place again. The Jacksons sit on the porch, watching him work, feeling pretty good about themselves. Think Ginger's gonna show up too? Mia asks, munching on a leftover cookie. Lisa shrugs. Maybe. But for now, Fred's got a home. Tom nods, cracking open a beer. Yeah, and we've got our neighbor back. So, the Jacksons are feeling pretty darn proud of themselves. That little platform they slapped together for Fred is up there on the roof, looking like a bird's version of a fixer-upper, and Fred's been poking around it for days now. Every morning, they peek out the window to see him hopping around, dropping twigs, and clacking his beak like he's got big plans. Mia's obsessed, filming him whenever she can, and Lisa's started calling him our little architect. Tom just nods along, sipping his coffee, secretly glad the stork didn't ditch them after all the chaos. It's been about a week since they bolted that frame up, and Fred's really taking to it. At first, he was just messing with the sticks they'd left there, rearranging them like he wasn't sure what to do. But then one afternoon, Lisa's out hanging laundry, because the dryer's on the fritz again, when she spots him swoop down with a fat branch in his beak. He lands on the platform, drops it, and starts weaving it into the pile. She yells into the house, Tom, Mia, he's building. They come running, and sure enough, Fred's going to town, tugging at the sticks and packing them tight. Mia's grinning ear to ear. He noticed. He's actually using it. Tom squints up at the roof, hands in his pockets. Yeah, guess he figured out we're not total losers. Lisa laughs, clipping a sock to the line. Told you he'd get it. Storks are smart. And she's right. Fred's not just messing around anymore. He's serious about this. Every day, he's back with more stuff. Twigs, grass, even some weird stringy junk he probably nabbed from a dumpster. The nest starts taking shape, all lumpy and wild, but it's definitely a nest. The roofing crew's long gone by now. The new shingles are in place, the leaks fixed, and the insurance check cleared. So it's just the Jacksons and their bird buddy again. The neighbors still peek over sometimes, curious about the stork comeback, and old Mrs. Carter shuffles by one day with her binoculars. He's rebuilding, huh? She says, all impressed. Tom nods. Yup, tough little guy. She winks at Lisa. Still bringing good luck, I bet. Lisa just smiles, not buying the superstition. But hey, it's a nice thought. Fred's hustle is something to see. He's up there at dawn, clacking and flapping. Then off he goes, soaring over the neighborhood to scrounge up more supplies. By the end of the week, the nest is legit, big and messy, just like the old one, perched right on that platform like it's always been there. Mia's friends come over to gawk, and she's all proud, showing off her videos. See? Told you he'd stick around, she says, zooming in on Fred strutting across the roof. Tom teases her, what? You his manager now. But he's grinning too. Lisa's the one who notices the shift. One evening, they're all out on the porch, Tom with his beer, Mia scrolling her phone, Lisa flipping through a magazine, when Fred lands with a fresh stick and starts fussing with the nest again. But this time, he's not crying that sad clack anymore. He's quieter, more focused, like he's finally settled. Think he's happy? Lisa asks, leaning back in her chair. Tom shrugs. Looks that way. Guy's got a home again. Mia pipes up. Maybe Ginger's coming back too. They all pause, glancing up, but there's no sign of her yet. Still, Fred's not acting lonely anymore. He's too busy building. The next day seals it. Tom's out mowing the lawn, the hum of the mower filling the air, when Fred takes off and comes back with a huge wad of straw. He plops it down, starts tucking it in, and keeps going like that for hours. The Jacksons watch from the kitchen window, passing a bowl of popcorn around like it's a show. He's not stopping, Mia says, munching. Lisa nods. He's making it his own. And that's the thing. Fred's not just using their frame. He's turning it into something bigger, something he picked for himself, right there on the same roof. By the weekend, the nest is a masterpiece, at least by stork standards. It's a wild tangle of sticks and straw, spilling over the platform, but it's solid. Fred perches on it, flaps his wings a couple times, and lets out this big, proud clack that echoes down the street. The Jacksons step outside to cheer him on, clapping like he just won a prize. Nice work, buddy, Tom yells, raising his beer. Lisa's got her arm around Mia, both of them laughing. Guess he's staying, Mia says, and Lisa nods. Yeah, right where he belongs. So that's it. Fred's back in business, building his nest on the Jacksons' roof like nothing ever happened. Maybe Ginger's out there, maybe not. But for now, it's Fred's spot, and he's not going anywhere. The Jacksons? They're just happy to have their weird, winged neighbor back. Life's funny like that. Lightning can strike, fires can burn, but some things just keep coming home.